Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to unveil your not so secret identity?
Oh, I don't know what voice to do that in. I guess I could do a little Bulbasaur.
Oh, that's so cute.
So just so you're all prepared, Jackie told me this would be a 4-hour interview with a lot of bad words. So just get ready, get comfortable.
The chat's going crazy for that. Actually, I don't want to get your hopes too up, but we might cut it a little bit shorter. We'll see.
Okay. Oh well.
But for the fans out there, it's an honor definitely to have you on the show. But I always ask, the very first time we have somebody on the show, the most generic end all question, and that's how initially did you get interested in acting?
In acting in general, I was one of those kids who always knew what they wanted to do. One of those obnoxious kids who was singing all the time and um, wanted to perform. And actually, I started doing voiceovers when I was in high school. I was in a local singing competition, and really close to New York City. And a manager saw me and said, "Hey, do you want to do voiceovers?" And I said, "What's a voiceover?" And I went on an audition like a couple days later for wart cream, where I had to say something like, "Ew, gross, a wart." And I got the job, and I was like, "This is the coolest job ever." And it just sort of went from there. And I was like, "Oh, I could do cartoons and like really fun things." So I was always acting. The voiceover thing kind of just happened accidentally.
I always love hearing about that because, you have a lot of people who really want to get into the industry. And that's the reason I asked that question specifically, because everyone's journey into acting is always so different that there's
Oh
no
yeah.
one right answer.
There's no right answer. I wouldn't know how to break in now if I had to, because people ask me that and I say, I wish I could be more useful. I got pretty lucky at a young age. So, I mean, not that I don't have to keep up the work, but at least the breaking in was a little bit easier back then.
Yeah, nowadays technology has changed so much in terms of just in the studio and out. Everybody has a home
Oh yeah.
studio.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different field.
And then you have pay to play sites, and some people don't like those and
Oh
some
yeah.
people
I mean,
do. So,
right. But it gives people all over the country, I was lucky I lived near New York, but it gives someone living anywhere just as much of a shot as the people living in LA or Chicago or New York. So I think that's great, because I think that then the talent then rises to the top because they can get the exposure. So that is what I tell people when they ask me. I don't just say, "I don't know." But I say, like you guys have the technology, and if you can figure it out, you can really get noticed.
definitely. And now for the fans out there, because I have to ask, obviously, I have to ask about Pokemon. Pokemon,
Woo!
yeah, it's such a huge phenomenon, even to this day. Like I was
It's
out,
crazy.
yeah, I was out of it when like Pokemon Gold and Silver came out. I was like, well, it's kind of the same game, and I'm good. And then like, people are still playing it.
It's crazy. Because I was excited when I did it because my little cousins thought I was cool. That was like the fun part for me, is that little kids I could like get to like me. But now, I mean, and I'm not, because I moved, none of us are really on the show anymore.
Mhm.
But there's still people watching the old shows, and there's this whole new crop of kids. I was doing Big Brothers Big Sisters, which I recommend for anybody to do. It's a great organization. That's my little plug for charity. But I had, and my little sister was really into Pokemon. And I said to her, "Oh, I was the voice of Bulbasaur." And she said, "Oh, I'm Pikachu." like she didn't get it, but she was really into Pokemon. So that was very cool to me, that a whole new generation of kids is still watching it and playing and loving it.
Yeah, it's so funny. My brother has kids now, and they they're kind of into Pokemon. So when I try and explain, like, guess who I'm talking today, and all that other stuff, they're like, "That's cool.
It
Can they give us free Pokemon cards?"
Right. It's a weird disconnect for kids to understand that your voice is coming out of the TV. Like, it's, even if you're standing next to them doing the voice, they just think you're copying it. So
Yeah.
so you can impress kids like older than 8, but younger than that it might be confusing.
Well, for my generation, that's all we knew growing up. Many of the shows that you've been on were like the first shows that I ever bought. Like
Oh, wow,
Revolutionary Girl
cool.
Utena, Shamanic Princess is actually
Oh,
one that comes to mind, and
oh yeah.
I don't know how much you remember that one, but that one was one I used to watch over and over again, trying to figure out
Really?
what the plot was.
I should revisit that. That would be a fun one to revisit. I never really, I don't really watch myself, but now maybe it's been enough time that it would be fun to do. And I'll cringe at what I sound like, but um, oh, that's cool. Yeah, someone was just bringing up Slayers the other day, and I remember loving working on that show. So like maybe I could actually sit down and watch that now without, judging myself.
Yeah, no, I could understand that. I mean, when I listen to promos we do like a year ago, I'm like, I wish I would have done this. But when it's been
Totally, of
so
course.
long ago, it's like, well,
Yeah, now it feels like a different life ago.
yeah, definitely. But you've seen, kind of the evolution of anime, and back in 1998 and 2000s, there was definitely different technology and the way things were done. So, what are the advancements that you've seen that have been really interesting for you?
The advancements I've seen, I mean, I think just the speed at which we can do things and the accuracy just with technology and the computers and how fast we work now. Um, I mean, and just social media in general, like, gosh, if that had been around when Pokemon first started, it would have been a very different thing. Like, in some ways, I'm sad that we didn't get to experience that. And in other ways, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, because I could kind of not deal with the pressure of how many Twitter followers do you have and all this crazy stuff that is very weird to me. So that technology, I mean, and just the fact that the fans can all find each other and it makes, I think it just gives even new life to these old things, which is so cool. That just didn't exist before.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you find people who have been friends on the internet for years. In fact, my roommate, I met him originally on the internet. We've been friends for 13 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, that's so interesting to me. Like, I had to leave my house to make friends. That's so unfair.
I still have some friends in real life, but I'm a homebody. I like staying
No, but
inside.
you want to find people with your common interests, and that's what's so great about it. You can really like navigate and find your people.
Yeah, and obviously conventions have still continued to grow.
Oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
can't believe how many conventions there are.
oh, I know. Last time I did a count for Florida, I believe the total count for Florida was like 29 just in
Oh
a
my
year,
gosh.
and I
Oh
was
yeah,
flabbergasted. Yeah.
I'm doing one. I think it's in November. It's called Fandom Con in Fort Walton, where I've never been in Florida. So I'm excited. Like I just actually started doing the conventions. I don't know why I was a little shy about them before, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, these are awesome. So I have a couple lined up. I can't wait.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, for fans, it's like going to Disneyland, and for the guests, you get to go explore some place you've never gone before. Like I'm going to BronyCon as a
Oh my gosh.
for that. And I knew nothing about ponies, but I'm excited for it because I was telling my roommate, I'm excited. I get to go, to Baltimore. He's like, those are words I'll never say, and I'm but food and new
That's
experiences,
funny.
like
And bronies in Baltimore.
exactly.
That's so much fun. Yeah, I'm really excited I've been to Comic-Con, I've done that stuff, but to see the really specialized ones, I think is going to be really neat.
Definitely. Have you gotten a chance to see, whether in person, like anybody cosplaying your characters or coming up to you
Oh, I
in those?
haven't.
Oh, really?
No, I'm so excited. All my friends do all this, and I was sort of like, what am I thinking? Why? So I live vicariously through them, and hopefully now I'll get to see it. I'm so psyched.
I'm
And
waiting.
because like people have favorite shows and stuff that I've forgotten about, or that again, like you just mentioned Shamanic Princess, and I'm like, oh wow, I should go back and see that. So even just those little things that you're like, oh, maybe I'll find some new favorites, or maybe people will recommend great shows to me, and so that's exciting.
That is super exciting. And I think with that, the fans out there should be searching, all of their local sewing shops to get ready for for cons that you're
I
going to
want
be
to
at.
see a Bulbasaur, an Oddish, maybe an Anna from Shaman King. See, that would be a cute little outfit for somebody.
That would, and
Anna
it'd be
from Shaman
pretty
King.
pretty
Yeah.
simple too. It wouldn't be too extravagant. So
Yeah, and Carrie Keranen just showed up at a convention in one of her characters in doing a cosplay, and she was a huge hit. I mean, she looked amazing. She looks like a model, so it's easy for her. But it was awesome. I mean, everyone was so excited to see her dressed up. So maybe I'll do that one day.
well, you got to post pictures online.
Oh gosh. See, that's the problem. They live forever.
They do until you delete the tweet where you posted the picture.
Well, they still exist somewhere in a cloud.
But for the fans out there, I'm going to give you a little break. That way you can make your cosplay list and check it twice. So keep it tuned
Thank you.
to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.
And we're back. That's your job. Sorry.
It's okay. I think if you take over the show, people wouldn't mind.
Jackie, what did you have for breakfast?
I haven't eaten yet, actually.
What? Oh, that's not good. You're too so busy transferring files.
Yes, no, it's true. I woke up at like 6 a.m. I had 2 glasses of water just to wake up, and then I've been going ever since. So
That sounds awful. I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
Oh.
I'm one of those people, and I think a lot of people in this sort of business are like that, but they're workaholics. So once they get focused on something, they don't stop until
Somebody bring her a cookie. Bring Jackie a cookie. Bring Jackie a cookie.
I think
right,
I have a
that's my
fortune
impression.
cookie over here. So, but no.
Fine.
For the fans out there, I do want to talk about some of your latest stuff. You were recently announced in a great series. I know it's great because I've played it. But you were announced in Danganronpa.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that was announced. I always forget what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not. Yeah, that was super fun. That voice hurt my throat, but it was worth it.
I can just imagine. I've played the first and the second games respectively, and there's a lot of screaming and a lot of yelling and a lot of people die.
Uh-huh. Yep. I mean, I can't say much more. I just remember being tired. I think that's all I'm probably allowed to say. But yeah, that was very cool. Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Not at all. I just want the fans to know about that. That does come out for anybody curious. It comes out not next month, but I believe September 1st. And the limited edition is still available on nisamerica.com.
Cool.
So for those of you who want to pick that up, that comes with like an art book and a soundtrack and a bunch of other little knickknacks, like a tie and a pin, I think.
It's fancy.
Yeah.
That is super fancy.
It's actually only $65, which is a really good price for something like that. So
it's Amazon Prime that.
But yeah, no, it's that series, and I know you can't talk a lot about your character, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with the series itself, but it's really interesting because it's so dark, like the subject matter is really dark, but there's like this wacky kind of Japanese humor to it that kind of counterbalances it, which makes it really unique.
Totally. I hadn't known the series, and so when it was being explained to me, I was a little appalled, but then I realized it was still funny and it still was a game. So I was like, oh my gosh, how do we? So that was kind of fun to find that balance between this dark side of it and these kids. And yeah, it was really fun to do.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I hope everyone likes it.
I'm sure they will. I'm super excited for the next one. This game, for anybody out there who doesn't know, takes a different approach. It's not so much of the same like visual novel puzzle solving. It's got some shooter elements to it, so it'll be a new experience.
Cool.
But for the fans out there, are there any other projects that you have coming up that you can talk about?
That I can talk about? No. I did. I mean, I did work on Sailor Moon last week. I worked on the original and Crystal, which was really fun to do. I hadn't worked on Crystal yet, so that was super cool. Hopefully soon I can talk more about that. What can I talk about? That's a great question. I never know, and I don't want to get in trouble. I'm so scared of getting yelled at. Oh, I did some Naruto recently. I had to cry a lot. So if anyone researches, they could probably figure out who that character is. I won't say any more. But that was also my first time working on that show, which is awesome. I was so excited to work on that. And a lot of audiobooks. So it's probably a different audience, but that's what I've been busy talking on lately.
Audiobooks, I think, are such daunting tasks. So anyone who does them, props to you.
Oh, it's exhausting, but it's when you get a great book, it's really worth it. And hoping to do more stuff that appeals to this audience as well and do more crossover things. So that could be cool.
And now I'm gonna bring this up because I actually watch this a lot on YouTube because it's available on the official channel. But it's there's Barbie, Life in the Dream House.
Oh, I love Barbie Life in the Dream House. It's so much funnier than I ever expected it to be, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it's really, because you kind of imagine it to be a very prim and proper world, but Barbie Life
Oh
in the Dream
no.
House very much makes fun of kind of the staples that build up what you think of when you think of Barbie.
Totally. And that's why I loved it. The humor was awesome. It was the kind of show that if your kid was watching it, you wouldn't mind watching it with them because it sort of poked fun at it. It was really self-aware. It was just really funny. And we got to record together sometimes for that show, which you guys know is, I mean, you've probably heard that before, is so unusual. So to be able to work with the cast was awesome. Just really cool people and to get that many girls in a room doing high-pitched voices but all sounding different was so cool to see too, because it was like, how are they going to do this? But I love the animation. I love the show. Thank you for bringing that up. That's cool.
Not at all. Yeah, no, I'm one of those people that have, it doesn't matter how old I get, I'm still gonna watch cartoons. So
I understand.
but I hope to see your character, return. I believe she's been missing from the past few episodes that have been released on YouTube, so hopefully she'll make a comeback.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know where they're at with the whole show, so I can't say anything, but yeah, zipping it.
And another show that you recently recorded for was Tiger and Bunny, the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well. I got to be a superhero. That was super fun.
Yeah, that one came out, and I believe that was in theaters, or it's going to be in theaters soon. I'm trying to remember. But I believe the theater release was the Japanese voices, which was like, oh.
Probably. That sounds right. That was really cool, too, though, just because anytime I can be like a bad superhero, I'm all for it. So sign me up.
That show is the pinnacle of a show that I recommend to somebody, because there are people, there's the sub and dub argument, obviously, and there's some people who refuse to watch dubs. And Tiger and Bunny, to me, is like, this is the pinnacle of like what a dub show is. You need to watch this dubbed.
Yeah, they have some good folks doing that show.
Well, not only that, but the actual like storyline and the whole thing is kind of westernized already. I mean, it's basically kind of like Marvel superheroes, and it just fits, an English aesthetic so well. So
right, it's a good introductory one for people like that. You're right. That's a good point. I'm going to use that. I will steal that from you.
You take it and enjoy.
And get people to watch it. Thank you. I'll copyright you when I do that.
Trademark Jackie Florian.
Yes.
But
I'm set under my bridge. Trademark Jackie Florian. Yep.
For the fans out there, though, if they want to keep up to date with what you're doing, I know you Twitter, but where can they find you online?
Tarasands.com is easy. Twitter's TaraSandsLA. I think I have Instagram now. I did make Instagram happen. That's TaraSandsLA too. And I'll put all like the convention information up there. And I'm not the most. I got to get more fun on Twitter. If anyone has suggestions for me how to be a better Twitterer, I will take them.
Hashtag.
Hashtag boring is like basically my Twitter feed. So I'm gonna up my game after this with the help of all of you.
I mean, Twitter is personally my favorite. I'm not as much of a Facebook fan as most people. So for me, I like Twitter because I can just kind of like, hey, I'm working on this, or I just did this, and attach a picture and I'm done. And I don't have to like it. I don't have to share it.
Right.
I don't have to like respond to all the comments. But one of the ways that I've found to get a little bit more interactivity is to tag, fellow voice actors who are also working on the show like, it was so good to
Totally.
see you
That's
at, whatever recording somewhere someday.
so now can I ask you guys a question? This is a good question to ask. When that happened, do you guys like reading that stuff, or do you think it's like name droppy and weird? Because I never want to seem douche. That's the wrong word to use. I never want to seem I don't know, braggy or
Right.
weird. That's I guess where my issue with social media is that I'm not I don't like being braggy. So if people like hearing that stuff, then I should just go for it.
I personally, I think if you approach it with, tact, and you're kind of graceful with it, it was an honor to work with so and so today. He's somebody I've really admired. Versus, hey, I worked with this person and this person and this person and this person and
Right.
this person.
There's a right way and a wrong way. So I can't be like, guess who is terrible in the booth.
No, that might get you into trouble.
Okay, I got to rethink this whole thing now. Okay, I just have terrible things to say about my fellow actors. No, not at all.
Doesn't everybody behind the scenes? Kidding.
No, I like these the anime voice actors that I work with so much. It's like it's a bummer we don't get to all record together more often. So
Yeah.
that's my only complaint.
It's kind of a shame because, I mean, a lot of people kind of give me flack for this, but I do like a lot of some of the older dubs.
Hmm.
Obviously everybody has their opinion, people say that they've improved over time, and I do think some have, but I think speed has definitely, hampered the craft, if you will.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes there isn't as much of a connection sometimes.
A connection, you mean in terms of performance or in terms of?
In terms of the actors together, because they're not
Yeah.
not in the same room, and for example, if you don't mind me bringing up another show that
Sure.
you're part of, back in the day you were actually on Oh My God, It's the Movie, but
Yep.
the original OVA had Juliet Cesario and Scott Simpson in it, and the director
Okay.
cast them and didn't know that they were dating at the time, and their
Oh, how
characters,
funny.
yeah, and their characters essentially are together, and I don't think you really hear so much about that sort of chemistry in the booth nowadays.
Right. And it's so funny because sometimes I hope to be one of the last people to record so that I can hear what they've done with the line before me. I feel so lucky when I get to actually be responding to the way that they read the line.
Mhm.
So it doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes I'm the first one to work on an episode. And then you kind of just hope it all falls into place. It's out of your hands at that point. But when you get to be the last one to record, I feel like I give a much better performance at that point.
Yeah,
So
and you really rely on the director too.
yeah, for sure. Or you hope that the director then will guide the next person after you, or even just that they have the time to bring you back in if something is not clicking together. If it doesn't sound like people are in the same room at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's time and money, and those are things that people don't have, unfortunately.
Yeah, no,
Like this 4 hour interview. Like I have the time and plenty of money to do this.
that's a good thing. It means you're getting work.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally kidding. I'm being silly, but yeah, that you're totally right. That is, I think, people's issue with some of these scenes is that you want to feel like these people know each other and are talking to each other, and it's sometimes just hard to get that.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that all dubs are bad. I don't want to like slap that on there because most of the things that I enjoy are dubbed. In fact, I'm more interested almost all the time in what's dubbed versus what's subbed.
Interesting.
Yeah, I won't buy, for example, I won't buy DVDs that are sub only because I feel cheated.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good to know. So you're you're equal opportunity.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I'm on both sides of the fence.
I like it. I like it. That's very open-minded.
Well, yeah, I feel like, everybody should be able to enjoy it the way that they want to, and when people are in fights about it, I think that's silly.
I don't think it's worth fighting about.
Yeah.
But,
The internet.
but I appreciate people's enthusiasm for it.
But for the fans out there, since we're nearing the end of this interview, I was wondering if you'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan Tradition.
Do I die at the end? Or what is it? What happens?
We ask everyone whether they're a voice actor or not if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us or say a line for us.
Of course.
Fantastic.
What do
And
I do? What do I do?
well,
Sign me up.
we basically ask if you could say, hello, my name is, you put in your name, I do this. You can put whatever you want, and you're tuned into 91.8, The Fan.
Okay, I say, hello, my name is, fill in the blank. What? And then what? And then you said there was some freestyling in the middle there. What was the freestyle section? Was it improv?
I do this. You could put characters.
Oh,
you could put
okay.
my name. This is my website. Whatever you want to put there. People kind of just go off the wall with that one.
Okay.
So,
Really? Okay. And
yeah.
you're listening to 91.8 The Fan. Okay.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Here we go. Hello, I am Tara Jayne Sands. I talk. I say stuff. I make funny voices. I often sound like a little boy or a weird creature. You can find me on Twitter at TaraSandsLA. And you guys are listening to 91.8 The Fan. How lucky are you?
Perfect. See, that wasn't that hard. You'd be surprised how many voice actors come in and they're like, what is the name of the sidekick? I don't understand. So.
Oh, come on now. Lazy. They need a script.
Yeah, but
well, thank you. This was so much fun.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there, is there anything else you'd like to tell them? Any words of wisdom, dating advice, predictions for the end of the world?
Listen to your mother. I don't know.
I like that one.
Wear a scarf. You're gonna freeze. I have no idea. I'm a terrible person to ask advice from. I think just peace out. I don't know. I've never said that out loud before.
I think that's perfect.
Just cut all of that. Oh my gosh, maybe a 4-minute interview after you splice it. Well, all right, well, thank you. Yeah, thanks to whoever listened to this to me make a fool of myself.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to The Fan and for joining us today. For anybody out there that missed any of this interview, don't fret. You can find it on the website within the next week, so keep it tuned to your favorite station where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.
And go eat something, Jackie.